So students, hello everyone. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, ma'am.
Do you have any CT today?
No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay. So already 4 minutes over, and I think we should start from now. Today we will discuss a new topic. In our last classes, we have learned about Laplace transformation, and from our today's lecture, we will learn inverse Laplace transformation. And Laplace transformation and inverse Laplace transformation are connected to each other. Okay. So at first, you should know what is the definition of Laplace transformation. All of you know that the Laplace transformation of a function f of t is equal to f of s, right? All of you know that. We are considering a function f of t, and the Laplace transformation of that function is equal to f of s. Now from this definition, or from this expression, we can find inverse Laplace transformation. What is this? Small f of s is the Laplace transformation. This is small f of s is the Laplace transformation of f of t. And here f of t is the inverse Laplace transformation of f of s. Okay, that's the relation between Laplace transformation and inverse Laplace transformation. What is this? If Laplace transformation of f of t is equal to small f of s, here your small f of s is known as Laplace transformation of f of t. And this capital F of t is known as inverse Laplace transformation of small f of s. And it can be written like this: f of t is equal L inverse of f of s. Okay. So for writing inverse Laplace transformation, you can use this as notation, or this is as notation. This is known as inverse Laplace transformation of f of s. So as a notation, you can write down this or this. Inverse Laplace transformation of f of s, or directly capital F of t is known as inverse Laplace transformation. Do you know your CT for Math 267, the date has been changed? It
Yes,
has
ma'am.
been shifted from 5 to 12, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your CT3 has been shifted from this date to this date, but the time slot is same.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, that's the definition of inverse Laplace transformation. What is this? If the Laplace transformation of a function f of t is equals to f of s, that means this. If it happens, that means the Laplace transformation of f of t is equal to f of s, then f of t is called the, here capital F of t is called the inverse Laplace transformation of small f of s, which can be written like this, capital F of t is equal L inverse f of s, and here this L inverse is known as inverse Laplace transformations operator. Okay, here your L inverse is known as inverse Laplace transformation operator. And if you take this to the left side, then it will provide this equation. Here, if you take this inverse Laplace operator L inverse to the left side, then from this equation we will get this. So these two definitions are connected to each other. Okay. You can define Laplace transformation by this equation or inverse Laplace transformation by this equation also. If this is the Laplace transformation of f of t is equal to f of s, then this is known as Laplace transformation of capital F of t. And here capital F of t is known as inverse Laplace transformation of small f of s, which is this. And it is denoted by capital F of t is equal inverse Laplace transformation of f of s, and here this is the operator which is used for indicating inverse Laplace transformation. Okay, I think now the definition and idea about inverse Laplace transformation is clear. Very simple, just opposite of Laplace transformation. Okay, now we learned one different function that is known as the null functions, and the Laplace transformation of null function is considered as zero always. Okay, what is this? We learned about null function, and the Laplace transformations of this function is always zero considered. What is this? This is the definition of null function, and the Laplace transformation of null function is always zero. So at first we learned what is the definition of null function. We are considering a function n of t, and this is a function of a variable t. Okay, we are considering a function nt, which is a function of variable t. And if this function satisfies this condition, that means the integration of that function with respect to t from the interval 0 to t is equals to 0 for all values of t greater than 0. What is this? We are considering a function n of t, which is a function of a variable t. And if the integration of that function with respect to t from the range 0 to t is equals to 0, where t is greater than 0. Okay, where t is greater than 0. So such type of function is known as null functions. Then n of t is called a null function. And this is one example of null function. What is this? F of t. You can write down it as n of t, f of t, something like this. So here I consider n of t, so I write down it as n of t. So n of t is equals to 1 for t is equals to half, minus 1 for t is equals to 1, and 0 for other values of t. Okay, 0 for other values of t. So now I will practice, or I will test either this function is a null function or not. So you have to integrate from the range 0 to t n of t dt. I will check that either this function is null function or not. Okay, so memorize these. Null functions value 1 for t is equals to half, minus 1 for t is equals to 1, and 0 for otherwise. Okay, and here in this definition the values of t will have to be greater than 0. the values of t will have to be greater than 0. So we will start the limit from 0 to t, right? So we'll consider integration 0 to t n of t dt. But in your function f of t or n of t, the function is n of t is equals to 1 for t is equals to half, minus 1 for t is equals to 1, 0 for otherwise. So we will write down it as 0 to half. After that it will be half to 1. And the rest of part will be from 1 to 0. But for the other values of t, 1 to 0, the n of t is equals to 0. So its integration will also be 0, right? Here, the values for n of t is equals to 0. For otherwise values of t except half and 1. So for the range 1 to t, the values of n of t will be 0. And in that sense, it will be 0 into dt. And this will produce a 0, right? Integration of 0 with respect to any interval will be 0. So this term will be 0.
Ma'am.
Yes?
Take 2, ma'am. We have a limit take 2.
Limit? Okay.
Yes.
Here for null function, your condition is the values of the formula or the condition is integration 0 to t n of t dt is equals to 0. That's the condition for being null function. And we are trying to consider that, we are trying to show that this function is a null function by testing this condition, the values of n of t integration with respect to t from 0 to t is equals to 0. We will prove this. But for proof this, here you have to take the limit from 0 to 2, sorry, from 0 to t. And here the values of t is given half, 1 and otherwise. Here half, 1 and otherwise means your first interval will be from 0 to half. Second interval will be from half to 1, and for otherwise that means here it is t greater than 0, right? It is t greater than 0, that means the values of t can be up to infinity. Since the values t is greater than 0, that means your values can be from 0 up to infinity. So the last part will be from 1 to t or 1 to infinity. And the values for this interval of this function will be 0, right? The value of n of t for this interval 1 to t or 1 to infinity will be 0. So it will be 0 into dt. And the integration of this part is equals to 0. Okay. So since your limit is half 1, that's why we will start from 0 to half, half to 1. If it is 1 to, then we will start from 0 to 1, 1 to 2. And the next term will be 2 to t or 2 to infinity. Now is it clear how can we take the limit?
Yes, ma'am.
So now use the values n of t is equals to 1 for t is equals to half. So it will be 1 into dt, integration 0 to half. And the next one will be minus 1 into dt. Since for 1 it will be minus 1. So half to 1 and the next part is 0. Now it will be half minus 0 and the next one will be minus 1 plus half. So from here we get half and from here we get minus half. This half and half will cancel each other. So we have found that integration 0 to t n of t dt is equals to 0, right? We have found that this is equal 0. So in that sense, we can say that this function f of t, sorry,
ম্যাম
yes,
ইন্টারভেল গুলো যে ভ্যালু গুলো বসালেন ম্যাম, ওখানে ম্যাম এখানে টি এর কিছু পার্টিকুলার ভ্যালুর জন্য বলেছিল 1, not for any range ম্যাম।
okay, here you are considering
But
that n of t is equals to 1 for t is equals to
half
and minus 1 for t is equals to 1, right? Here
yes,
0 for otherwise. Since your limit is from, for considering this integration, your limit is for t greater than 0. That means its range will be from 0 to infinity, right? Your range
yes,
will be from 0 to infinity. And since here there are two values of t, then you have to divide your whole interval into 2 or 3 sub-interval.
yes ma'am,
2 or 3 Sub-interval. Now your question is, since it is not given that this is for 0 to
Particular. Yes,
okay,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
since it is null function, and for null function you have to consider the first limit from 0 to half and the second limit from some, you have, if you consider this is on a straight line 0, half, 1. So for the particular value for null function you have to consider this is a sub-interval and this is a sub-interval. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So since this is equals to 0, so in that sense, we can say that our given function is a null function. And it is fixed that the Laplace transformation of null function is 0. That means the Laplace transformation of null function, right? Integration 0 to t, n of t, oh, sorry. What is this? It is fixed that the Laplace transformation of null function is equal to 0. Now, I'm considering that the Laplace transformation of f of t is equal to f of x. So what will be the formula for Laplace transformation of f of t plus n of t is equals to what? When n of t is equals to null function. Can anyone say? We know that
F of S.
it will be also f of s, because we know that the Laplace transformation of null function is 0. So if we consider that Laplace transformation of f of t plus n of t is equals to f of s, then it will be similar of the previous one. It will be similar of the previous one because the Laplace transformation of n of t is equals to 0. Now, if I consider the inverse Laplace transformation, then what will happen? From here we get that f of t is equals to inverse Laplace transformation of f of s, right? But from here we can write that f of t plus n of t is equal inverse Laplace transformation of f of s. So here, that's the inverse Laplace transformation. That's the inverse Laplace transformation. Here, considering the null function, we can see that your Laplace transformation is unique, f of s, f of s. But if you consider null function, then your inverse Laplace transformation will not be unique. It will be different, f of t and f of t plus n of t. Have you understood what I want to say? If you consider null function, then your Laplace transformation f of s and f of s will be unique, right? Here, this is the Laplace transformation of f of s, Laplace transformation of f of t, n of t, which is f of s, and these are equal. So we can say that for null function, your Laplace transformation is unique, but your inverse Laplace transformation f of t and this, is it unique? Inverse Laplace transformation for null function is unique or not?
No, ma'am.
No. If we consider the existence of null function, then our inverse Laplace transformation will not be unique. But if the null function does not exist, so in that sense, we can say that the inverse Laplace transformation is unique. Okay. So with the existence of null function, with null function, our Laplace transformation is unique, but inverse Laplace transformation is not unique. Okay, is not unique. And without null function, our inverse Laplace transformation is also unique. Okay, that's the main thing, and that's the necessity to learn about the null function. Sorry, ask your question again.
Unique or not unique ব্যাপারটা বুঝতে পারলাম।
Okay. Here you know that the Laplace transformation of null function is equals to 0. Now I am finding the Laplace transformation of a function f of t. And what is this? Laplace transformation of f of t is equals to f of s. Now I will find the Laplace transformation of f of t and n of t. So what will be the result for Laplace transformation of this? It will be Laplace transformation of f of t plus Laplace transformation of n of t. And we know that there is a property Laplace transformation of null function is equals to 0. So this term will be 0. And for what? Laplace transformation of f of t is equals to f of s. So we have found that Laplace transformation of f of t is f of s, and Laplace transformation f of t plus n of t is f of s. That means with the null function, our Laplace transformation is unique, right? Unique means same. Unique means same. F of s, f of s. So we can say that with the existence of null function, Laplace transformation is unique. Is it clear for Laplace transformation?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we will go for the inverse Laplace transformation. It is f of s. So from here we get inverse Laplace transformation is f of t, right? And it is equal L inverse f of s. And from here we get f of t plus n of t is equals to inverse Laplace transformation of f of s. Here inverse Laplace transformation is f of t and inverse Laplace transformation is f of t plus n of t. Is these two left side are equal? Is they unique? If these two are equal,
No, ma'am.
okay, that's why the inverse Laplace transformation with the existence of null function is not unique.
It's not
Okay.
unique.
Now
Yes,
is it
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
now is it okay to understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Now we will learn some formula which is as similar as our Laplace transformation of some elementary functions. And you have to memorize those formula, and the proof for those formula is not necessary for your exam. So we just memorize this formula, and in our next calculations to show the application of different theorems, properties, or to prove or to find the Laplace inverse Laplace transformation of any given function, you will direct these results directly. Okay, so you have to memorize this formula. Laplace if f of s is equals to 1 by s, and its inverse Laplace transformation is 1. And you have learned that the Laplace transformation of 1 is 1 by s, right? They are related to each other. The Laplace transformation of 1 is 1 by s, and the inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s is equal 1. They are related to each other. That means they are inverse to each other, right? 1 by s squared is equals to t. You know that the Laplace transformation of t is 1 by s square, and the inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s square is equals to t. That means the inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s square will be equal to t. Okay. One by s to the power n plus 1, where n is equals to 0, 1, 2, something like this, and the result is t to the power n by n factorial.
And
Right?
yes,
1
ma'am.
by s minus a is equal e to the power at.
80.
And for e to the power minus at, the inverse Laplace transformation will be 1 by s plus a. Okay. 1 by s minus a is equals to e to the power at, and for e to the power minus at, it will be 1 by s plus a. That means the inverse Laplace transformation is 1 by s plus a will be e to the power minus at. E to the power minus at. Okay. And if it is inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s minus a, then it will be e to the power plus at. So I have to remove this.
Yes.
For 1 by s square plus a square, your Laplace inverse Laplace by at by a.
80.
At by a, or if it is that a by s square plus a square, then it will be only sin at. Okay.
Yes.
1 by s square plus a square is equals to sin at by a, but when it is a divided by s square plus a square, then the answer will be sin at. Now, s by s square plus a square is equal cos at. Cos at 1 by
ম্যাম খালি t to the power n এর একটা সূত্র ছিল না, ল্যাপ্লাস ট্রান্সফরমেশন অফ t to the power n is equals to n
T to the
factorial
power n.
t
No,
to
it
the
is
power
T to the power n. It is T to the power n.
t to the power n ম্যাম বলছি আমি।
It is T to the power n, and here the formula is 1 by s to the power n plus 1 is equals to t to the power n by n factorial. This is for inverse Laplace transformation.
ওকে ম্যাম।
And 1 by s square minus a square is equals to sine hyperbolic at divided by a. And similarly, if a is considered, it is a by s square minus a square, then it will be sine h at, okay, sine hyperbolic at. It will be cos hyperbolic at, okay. So we need those theorems, not theorem.
ম্যাম ডিভাইডেড বাই a দিয়ে কি বোঝাচ্ছে?
Here it is sine hyperbolic at by a. Basically, the Laplace transformation of sine hyperbolic at is equals to what? Do you know that formula? It is
a by s square
s square minus
minus
a.
a
In that sense, your inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s square minus a square will be sine hyperbolic at divided by a. Okay? And here a is any arbitrary constant. Here a means any arbitrary constant. So if anyone know those formula for Laplace transformation, then you can get the result for inverse Laplace transformation also, because they are related to each other, and we will use those formula, and you have to memorize those formula. Okay. Now we learn some properties of inverse Laplace transformation, and the first property is linearity property. Basically, it is as similar as the linearity property for Laplace transformation. Here, in the place of Laplace transformation, we just use the inverse Laplace transformation operator, nothing else. So, what is the statement? If C1 and C2 are arbitrary constant, we are considering C1, C2 arbitrary constant, and small f1 is and small f2 is, they are the Laplace transformation, right? Small f means the Laplace transformation. These and these are Laplace transformation of two functions, capital F1t. That means small f1s is the Laplace transformation of these, and small f2s is the Laplace transformation of these functions respectively. So in that sense, what will be the formula or what will be the property for inverse Laplace transformation? And it is inverse Laplace transformation C1 f1s plus C2 f2s. It can be written as C1 inverse Laplace transformation of f1s and in C2 into inverse Laplace transformation of f2s. And you know that here this operator inverse Laplace transformation of f1s, inverse Laplace transformation of f1s of f of s is known as capital F of t. So for inverse Laplace transformation of f1s, it will be f1t, and for inverse Laplace transformation of f2s, it will be f capital F2t. Okay. So in that sense, we can write down it as C1 capital F1t plus C2 capital F2t. And the main thing is that you have to find the inverse Laplace transformation of each function in particularly as the similar way of Laplace transformation. Now we'll see one example. Here, if I ask to find the okay, I asked to find the inverse Laplace transformation of this function which contains three in particular parts. 1, 2, 3, three particular parts. So what will be the inverse Laplace transformation? Inverse Laplace transformation of 4 by s minus 2 minus 3s by s square plus 16 plus 5 by s square plus 4. According to our linearity property, you will take the constant term to the left side and you will find the inverse Laplace transformation of each term in particular way. So here the constant is 4 Laplace transformation of 1 by s minus 2. Okay. Now we'll consider minus 3. This is the constant term, that means C1, C2, C3. Inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s square plus 16 can be written as 4 square. Plus the constant is 5. Yes.
ম্যাম এখানে 3s ছিল না ম্যাম?
3s. Okay. Write down here is. So it will be Laplace transformation of 1 by, okay, you cannot see here, 5 into inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s square plus 4 means s square plus 2 square. Okay. Now we need the direct formula which I have write down in the previous page. That means the table of inverse Laplace transformation. So what is the inverse Laplace transformation 1 by s minus 2? Here you have to use the formula inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s minus a. What is that formula?
e to the power
e to the power
E to the power a t. And here our a is 2, right? Here our a is 2. So it will be 4 e to the power 2t minus 3 into Laplace transformation s by s square plus 4 square. That means s by s square plus s by s square plus a square. What is the formula for inverse Laplace transformation of s by s square plus a square? Probably it is cos at, right? Yes. It is the formula for cos at.
Cos
and
AT,
here
yes.
our a is 4. If we consider s square plus 4 square, our a is 4. So it will be cos at means 4t. Okay. So for the second one, it will be cos 4t. And for the last one, 5 into, it is 1 by s square plus 2 square. That means 1 by s square plus a square. What is the formula for 1 by s square plus a square? Probably it is
Sin AT by A.
sin 80 by
yes. It is sin 80 by a, and here our a, and here our a is 2. It is 1 by s square plus 2 square. That means your a is 2. So the answer will be sin 2t by 2. Find sin 2t by 2. Okay. So we have found the inverse Laplace transformation of our given functions, which is this 4 e to the power 2t minus 3 cos 4t plus 5 sin 2t by 2. And one thing is that it is not like this, sin 2t by not 2. It is sin 2t by this 2. Okay. And you can write down as half of sin 2t. Be careful about that.
yes ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. So now we will learn the last one property. That means the first translation or shifting property, since we are at the end of our today's lecture. So what is this? First translation or shifting property. And you have to learn the statement of those properties for both Laplace transformation and inverse Laplace transformation. Without memorizing or learning those properties, you cannot be able to complete numerical example for finding Laplace transformations or inverse Laplace transformations. Okay. So the statement is, if inverse Laplace transformation of f of s is equal f of t. Then inverse Laplace transformation of f of s minus a is equal e to the power at f of t. What is this? If the inverse Laplace transformation of small f of s is f of t, then for f of s minus a, the inverse Laplace transformation will be e to the power at f of t. So at first we have to find from our given portion, suppose that it is 1 by s square minus 2s plus 5. So from here at first you have to find the values of small f of s. Okay, from here you have to find the values of small f of s. So here this can be written as inverse Laplace transformation 1 by s square minus 2s plus 1 plus 5. It can be written inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s minus 1 whole square plus, sorry, it is 4, right? Since it is 5, so we can write down 5 is equal 1 plus 4. We can write down 5 is equal 1 plus 4. So it will be a square minus 2ab plus b square plus 4. So a minus b whole square plus 4. Okay. So from here, it is f of s minus a. If you want to use these properties to find the inverse Laplace transformation of a given function, so Laplace transformation of f of s minus a, it is your f of s minus a. So from here at first you have to find out your f of s. Okay, this is your f of s minus a. It is Laplace transformation of 1 by s minus 1 whole square plus 4. It is your, this is your f of s minus a, and your a is 1. So from here you have to find out f of s. Okay, from here you have to find out f of s. So what will be f of s?
Sin 80 by a.
Yes, f of s will be 1 by s square plus 4, right? If it is f of s minus 1, if it is f of s minus a is 1, that means f of s minus 1, then what will be the result for f of s? S minus 1 will be replaced by s. Okay, so here it will be replaced by s, so s square plus 4. Now we have to find the inverse Laplace transformation of this. So inverse Laplace transformation of f of s is equal what? 1 by s square plus 2 square, that means sine at by a, and here a is what? Here a is 2. Okay, so this is the Laplace transformation of f of s, that is equal what? Capital F of t. Now you will use the first translation of shifting property. Using shifting property, our inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by plus 4 will be what? The formula or the property is e to the power at f of t. E to the power at. And here a is 1, right? E to the power at, and your a is 1. So it will be 1 into t, or simply t. A is 1, e to the power at into f of t, into f of t. And the values for f of t is equal sine 2t by t. Sine 2t by 2. Okay. So you can write down it as half of e to the power t into sine 2t. And that's the application for first shifting property or first translation property. Since we are at the end of our today's lecture,
ম্যাম
yeah,
ম্যাম উপরের লাইনটা একটু একবার বলবেন?
this line or
ফার্স্ট
this
লাইনটা,
line?
ফার্স্টেরটা একদম।
এটা?
ইয়েস ম্যাম, ওইটা যে এফএস বের করছেন সেটা।
Okay, let me explain. Here, if you want to use the first translation property, your property is if inverse Laplace transformation of f of s is equal to f of t, then inverse Laplace transformation of f of s minus a is equal e to the power at f of t, right? That's the output of your first shifting property. And your given function is you have to find inverse Laplace transformation of 1 by s square minus 2s plus 5. So at first try to convert it in the form of f of s minus a. Try to convert this part into f of s minus a. So here write down this 5 as 1 plus 4. S square minus 2 into s into 1 plus 1 plus 4. 5 can be written as 1 plus 4. So from here we can found that inverse Laplace transformation 1 by here, this can be written as s minus 1 whole square plus 4, right? So from here we can easily see that here s minus 1 is compared with s minus a. So consider this is as f of s minus a, or s minus 1 is equal 1 by s minus 1 whole square plus 4. And from here you have to find f of s, because the condition is you have to find at first the Laplace transformation of f of s, which is f of t, and this result will be used here. This is f of s minus s. So from here you have to find f of s. If it is f of s minus 1, then what will be for f of s? Your s will be replaced by s. Your s minus 1 will be replaced by s. So it will be 1 by s square plus 4. That is our f of s. Now from here find the Laplace transformation of this f of s. Find the Laplace transformation of inverse Laplace transformation of f of s. Okay. Inverse Laplace transformation of f of s, that is s square plus 4. And that answer will be your f of t. Okay, that answer will be your f of t. Now use this one. This is the output for fast shifting or fast translation property, and the left side is similar. Here this is the left side of your calculation. L inverse 1 by s minus 1 whole square plus 4. It is f of s minus s. It is our f of s minus s. Okay, so use this formula directly. This is our f of t, and it is sine 2t by 2. So what will be this? Inverse Laplace transformation of f of s minus a, that is s minus 1 whole square plus 4. This is our small f of s, and the inverse Laplace transformation of this is equal e to the power a t f of t. E to the power a, here a is 1, so it is 1 into t, that means t, and f of t is equal sine 2t by 2. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so students, we are at the end of for today's lecture, and in our next class we will learn another properties, that means second translation shifting property, properties for derivatives, properties for integrals, multiplication by t to the power n, division by t. And all these properties we have learned in for Laplace transformation. Now we have learned for inverse Laplace transformation. Yes, ask your question please.
ম্যাম যে সলিউশন গুলো দিয়েছিলেন ম্যাম কিছুদিন আগে, ওই যে রিকোয়েস্টেড কোশ্চেনে ম্যাম, ওইটার এক্সাম্পল 22 তে ম্যাম একটা প্রবলেম ছিল ম্যাম।
আপনার যদি প্রবলেম থাকে আপনি প্রবলেমটা অ্যাটাচ করে আমাকে একটা মেইল করে দিন, আমি আপনাকে যদি ক্লারিফিকেশনে প্রবলেম থাকে তাহলে ক্লারিফাই করে দিব, আর যদি সলিউশন দরকার হয় তাহলে সলিউশন প্রোভাইড করে দিব।
না ম্যাম, সিম্পল একটা কোশ্চেন ম্যাম, যে ইনফিনিটি বাই ইনফিনিটি তো কিছু না, এটা তো
it is something like this, infinity plus a, something like this.
Yes ma'am, but ওই কোশ্চেনে ছিল ইনফিনিটি মাইনাস ইনফিনিটি, দ্যাট ইজ রিটেন, দ্যাট ইজ 0, এটাকে 0 ধরা হয়েছে ম্যাম। তো আমি আমার কোশ্চেনটা ছিল yes ma'am, হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ এক্স্যাক্টলি এটাই। তো ইনফিনিটি মাইনাস ইনফিনিটি যদি 0 হয় তাহলে ইনফিনিটি বাই ইনফিনিটি যদি কিছু না হয় তাহলে ইনফিনিটি মাইনাস ইনফিনিটি কেন 0 হবে ম্যাম?
It is just consider this is as a positive term and this is a negative term.
Yes ma'am.
And this positive term and negative term will cancel each other. Okay, we are not just counting it. We are not just counting the values of it. We are just cancelling for its negative sign. Okay, when your sign is negative, then we can cancel it. We are not counting it. But when it is infinity square, that means you have to multiply infinity with infinity. So one thing is infinity, and if you add is something countable values, then it will be obviously infinity, right?
Yes ma'am.
Infinity means a value which is uncountable and a very much large value. And if you add this with a constant term, then it will be also a very much large value, which is also infinity.
Yes ma'am.
Or if you multiply infinity with infinity, it will be also a large value which cannot be countable. That means infinity. Yes, but when it is plus, Log infinity minus log infinity here in the sense that one is positive and one is negative, and the positive term will cancel negative term. We are not counting them. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. But log infinity by infinity তাহলে কি হবে? By divide যদি করি আমি। log
Divide.
infinity by infinity. Yes, ma'am.
If you divide log infinity by log infinity,
That means, ma'am, infinity by infinity because log infinity is infinity.
like this, and it is log infinity minus log infinity. In your logarithmic function, you have to convert your positive or you have to convert your multiplication into the plus form and your division into the minus form. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So thank you everyone for your participation and cooperations. And we are at the end of today's lecture. Take care everyone. Allah Hafiz.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum.